Imagine running after something that keeps moving further away the faster you run. Sounds absurd, doesn't it? Yet, it's exactly what some men do in their pursuit of a romantic partner. Welcome to the chase paradox, a fascinating yet perplexing aspect of human relationships. Picture this. A man, let's call him John, is smitten by a woman. John, like countless men before him, believes that the surefire way to win her heart is by relentless pursuit. So off he goes, chasing her with all the passion and intensity he can muster. But here's the twist. The more John chases, the more the woman, let's call her Jane, seems to pull away. It's as if John's fervor has an inverse effect on Jane's interest. John is left scratching his head, wondering, why is it that the harder I try, the more she slips away? This, my friends, is the heart of the chase paradox. The notion that relentless pursuit will inevitably lead to success is a misconception that has been ingrained in our minds. But when it comes to matters of the heart, this approach often backfires. Instead of drawing the pursued closer, the pursuer inadvertently pushes them away. This happens because relentless pursuit can come off as desperate and needy, qualities that aren't exactly attractive. It's like trying to hold on to a handful of sand. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. The chase paradox is a dance of sorts, where one person advances while the other retreats. It's a dance that leaves the pursuer exhausted and the pursued feeling overwhelmed. It's important to note that this paradox isn't exclusive to men chasing women. It can happen in any relationship where one person is doing all the pursuing while the other is doing all the retreating. So, how does one navigate this paradox? Is there a way to break free from this endless cycle of chase and retreat? This chase, my friends, is a paradox that needs deciphering. But why do men feel the need to chase? The answer lies in our understanding, or rather misunderstanding, of masculinity. This question takes us on a journey deep into societal norms that have been ingrained in us for generations. Let's begin by acknowledging the societal pressure on men to be the initiators, the pursuers in relationships. This concept is rooted in age-old beliefs about gender roles that define men as the hunters, the providers, the protectors. It's as if the measure of a man's worth lies in his ability to take the lead, to be assertive, to pursue relentlessly. Vivid examples of these portrayals can be found all around us, from the tales of knights rescuing damsels in distress to modern-day rom-coms where the man is often seen making grand gestures to win over the woman. These narratives, while entertaining, perpetuate a stereotypical view of masculinity. But here's the catch. This singular idea of masculinity not only places an undue burden on men to act in a certain way, but it also oversimplifies the complex nature of human relationships. It reduces the interaction between two individuals to a mere game of cat and mouse, where one is always the pursuer and the other the pursued. Moreover, this traditional view of masculinity can lead to unhealthy dynamics in relationships. The pressure to conform to these standards can cause men to suppress their emotions, to avoid vulnerability, and to constantly prove their masculinity, often at the cost of genuine connections. It's time we challenge these misconceptions. Masculinity is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It's multifaceted, encompassing a range of behaviors, emotions, and roles. A man's worth is not defined by his ability to chase or to lead, but by his capacity to respect, to empathize, and to connect on a deeper level. The truth is, there's no rule book that dictates who should pursue whom in a relationship. What matters is mutual respect, understanding, and attraction. So let's break free from these outdated norms. Let's redefine masculinity and embrace the idea that being a man is about being true to oneself, not conforming to societal expectations. It's time we redefine what it means to be a man in a relationship. So instead of chasing, what should a man do? The answer is simple. Be a man worth pursuing. This isn't just a clever catchphrase, it's a shift in perspective that can dramatically change the way men approach relationships. Let's start with personal growth. Imagine two men. One is constantly trying to win a woman's attention, making grand gestures and relentlessly pursuing her. The other, meanwhile, is working on himself. He's setting goals, pursuing his passions, and striving to become the best version of himself. Who do you think is more attractive in the long run? The man who's focusing on becoming a better individual is naturally going to draw people towards him, including potential partners. Respect for others is another key trait. We all know the saying, treat others how you want to be treated. It's a golden rule for a reason. A man who shows respect to everyone he encounters, regardless of their relationship to him, is demonstrating a level of maturity and consideration that's incredibly appealing. He's not just being nice to win someone over, he's genuinely considerate because that's who he is. Then, there's genuine connection. A man who's always chasing might miss the opportunity to truly connect with the person he's pursuing. Instead of trying to impress, he should aim to understand, to listen, to share experiences. A genuine connection is far more meaningful than any amount of pursuit. Think of men like Nelson Mandela, who despite his struggles remained steadfast in his personal growth, respect for others, and genuine connection. Or consider the charm of George Clooney, who's often seen as a man worth pursuing, not because he's chasing anyone, but because he's focused on being a man of substance. The way forward, then, isn't about the chase. It's about becoming a man of value, a man who's attractive not for his pursuit, but for his character, his growth, and his ability to connect genuinely with others. Remember, the goal isn't to chase, but to become someone worth chasing. This approach isn't just about attracting a partner, it's about becoming a better man. It's about respect, growth, and connection. And when you focus on these, you'll find that you're not just worth chasing, but worth knowing, worth respecting, and worth loving. So what happens when you stop chasing and start focusing on becoming a man worth pursuing? When you put the energy you once used in the pursuit into developing yourself and your own life, something magical happens. You begin to radiate a self-confidence that others find attractive. You become a man who is not defined by a relationship, but rather one who complements it. Let's take a look at some examples. Consider a man named John. John was always chasing relationships, always seeking validation from the women he dated. But when he decided to shift his focus onto himself, to cultivate his interests, his skills, his emotional intelligence, he noticed a change. Women began to take an interest in him, not because he was pursuing them, but because he was pursuing a life of meaning and purpose. Or take Sarah and Mark. Mark was a man who had spent his life chasing women, until Sarah. He was drawn to her, yes, but he also knew he needed to work on himself. Sarah, seeing this, was not just attracted to Mark, but respected him. Their relationship blossomed not from a one-sided pursuit, but from a mutual attraction and respect. These examples are not outliers. They're demonstrations of a fundamental truth about relationships. When you stop chasing and start becoming, you attract people who value you for who you are, not just for what you can offer them. And this brings us to another important point: mutual attraction. A relationship should never be a one-way street. It should be a dance, a give and take, a mutual journey. When both parties are equally invested, the relationship becomes stronger, more resilient. It's not about one person chasing the other, but about both individuals moving towards each other, drawn by mutual respect, shared values, and of course, attraction. This approach doesn't just lead to healthier, more balanced relationships. It leads to happier, more fulfilled individuals. Because in the end, isn't that what we're all striving for? In the end, it's about creating a relationship where both parties are equally invested, where the chase is mutual. To recap, the chase paradox is a trap that many men fall into due to misconceptions about masculinity. We've debunked the myth that relentless pursuit is a sign of strength, instead highlighting the importance of self-improvement and mutual attraction. The alternative approach we've proposed involves becoming a person of value, which naturally draws others towards you. So, stop chasing and start becoming a man worth pursuing. And remember, a real relationship involves two people equally invested in each other.